Nigeria's military rejects Amnesty International's scathing human rights report. A closer look at the latest in solar cooking technology. And stunning time-lapse video of extreme weather over South Dakota takes social media by storm. Africa 54 starts right now.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Vincent Makori. This is Africa 54. We begin in Ghana, where an explosion at a gas station in the capital, Accra, has killed at least 73 people. They were taking shelter at the gas station during torrential rains. A fire brigade spokesman said the accident was caused by a fire at a nearby truck terminal. Flames quickly spread to the state-run Goel petrol station, causing an explosion which resulted into a fire which then spread to nearby buildings along the Kwame Nkrumah Circle in central Accra. The local military hospital has taken as many bodies as it can accommodate. The search for more victims continues, and officials have warned that the death toll is likely to rise. Now, the cause of the explosion is still unclear. President John Mahama visited the scene of the accident. He told reporters the loss of life is catastrophic and vowed such an accident will not be repeated. Accra has suffered 2 days of heavy rains that have flooded homes, caused power outages, and left some roads impassable. Officials said the toll from the accident is high because people had gathered at the fuel station and nearby buildings to escape the floods. Now, the flooding has also hampered rescue operations. Well, in the neighborhood, Nigeria's military is being blamed for the deaths of over 88,000 prisoners. In its new report, Amnesty International says Nigeria's armed forces also carried out war crimes during the fight with militant Islamist group Boko Haram. Speaking to VOA, a spokesperson for Nigeria's military dismissed the accusations as an unfortunate effort aimed at undermining the army's resolve to defeat Boko Haram. The report comes as Nigeria's new president is vowing to defeat the Islamist militants Boko Haram. During a visit to Niger, his first trip overseas since winning elections in March, President Muhammadu Buhari promised to do whatever it takes to eliminate the group accused of killing thousands of people across West Africa during its 6-year-long insurgency.
I renew my commitment to chase Boko Haram up to its last trenches, to obliterate it. 5 years of the evil presence of this sect is enough. Nigerian soldiers have suffered a lot of defeats, but it is not the moment to criticize. We are going to mobilize our best to attack this sect.
But Amnesty International says war crimes committed by Nigeria's military during the campaign against Boko Haram have also claimed thousands of innocent lives. The group says some 7,000 people died while in military detention. Another 1,200 people were killed by the country's armed forces during the past 4 years in what the group says were extrajudicial killings.
The main causes of death in detention were starvation, thirst, suffocation, severe overcrowding that led to spread of diseases, torture, lack of medical attention, and the use of fumigation chemicals in unventilated cells.
Amnesty International is calling on other countries to press Nigeria to investigate these deaths and to withhold all further military assistance until it does. Boko Haram launched its insurgence in 2009, attacking towns and villages and killing thousands of people in pursuit of a state adhering to strict Sharia law. The militants' abduction of 200 schoolgirls in April 2014 provoked outrage across the world. To be clear about the number in Nigeria, Amnesty International is accusing the military there of having killed 8,000 people. Now, over to Central Africa. Burundian authorities have heeded a call by East African leaders to postpone elections, a move that was hailed by both the opposition and residents of Bujumbura after more than a month of protests against President Pierre Nkurunziza's bid for a third term. With no sign of an end to the violence, the East African leaders held a summit in Tanzania calling for the postponement of the election for at least a month and a half. Nkurunziza's decision to run for a third term plunged the country into its worst crisis since the civil ethnic war that ended in 2005. A daily protests escalated into violence April 26, and activists say more than 30 people have been killed so far. Protesters say Nkurunziza's move violates the Constitution, which sets a two-term limit. Now, for the latest on the situation in Burundi, VOA's Edward Rema now joins us live via Skype phone from Bujumbura. How are you, Eddie?
How are you, Vincent? How is Washington today?
Okay. Now, give us some clarification here. There is a parliamentary election coming up and a presidential election coming up. What has been postponed?
As for now, we had from the president's office last night that the elections, the local and parliamentary elections that were supposed to take place this Friday, June 5, that have been postponed. There's no new date that has been announced yet. The National Electoral Commission says that it's going to be sending to the presidency a new calendar of elections, and then it's from there that the president will issue a decree announcing the new dates of which the elections will take place. But as of now, there is the big dilemma. The National Electoral Commission, which normally is comprised of 5 members, 2 of the members have fled the country. They resigned and fled the country. And right now, for them to take any decision, they need at least 4 out of the 5 members to be present. So that's the dilemma right now here in Bujumbura, Vincent.
Yeah, everybody knows that the big elephant in the room is actually the presidential election. What are people saying?
When you talk to different people, most of them actually don't even care about the postponement. And when you talk to the opposition, they say they were disappointed by the decision of the heads of state of the East African community, because they never addressed the elephant in the room, like you mentioned, which is the third term. And that's the reason we've seen lots of protests here in Bujumbura. Today was actually the 40th day since this protest began. So the opposition has said, saying that unless Pierre Nkurunziza withdraws his candidacy, they are not going to be able to participate in these elections, while at the same time the ruling party...
Yeah, very quickly. So does it mean the East African leaders have closed the chapter on negotiating at least anything as respects the presidential election?
Right now, we don't know. They gave 45 days for the government to chart the way out as far as organizing the elections is concerned. Whether there's going to be backroom negotiations to have President Nkurunziza withdraw his candidacy, that's still unknown to us. But up to now, we are waiting to see when are the new dates going to be announced and what formality is going to be used to announce the new dates, because right now, if the National Electoral Commission is not yet full, if the 5 members are not there, it's going to be hard for them to come out with a new date.
Eddie, thank you very much. VOA's Edward Rema reporting live via Skype phone from Burundi. Now, what could be the biggest scandal in the soccer world continues to unfold. U.S. court records unsealed Wednesday revealed Charles Blazer, a former executive committee member of football's global governing body, FIFA, admitted to accepting bribes in connection with the 1998 and 2010 World Cups in November 2013. Blazer told a U.S. judge that he and others on FIFA's executive committee accepted bribes in conjunction with the choice of France as the host of the 1998 World Cup. He also says the accepted bribes over the 2010 event awarded to South Africa. On his part, a former FIFA Vice President Jack Warner on Wednesday night denied taking bribes in connection with the awarding of the 2010 World Cup.
It's not true. South Africa didn't give me any $10 billion bribe. Didn't give me any bribe. Everything I have now, I had before politics.
Warner's public defense of his reputation and any alleged involvement in the FIFA corruption comes just days after he and other former FIFA officials and 4 sports executives were formally charged with corruption. Now, rescuers in central China have recovered dozens more bodies from a sunken passenger ship that capsized in the Yangtze River as hope deems for finding more survivors. Only 14 people have been rescued since the ship went down in the severe weather late Monday. The official Xinhua news agency said Thursday that 39 more bodies were found after authorities cut through the hull of the upturned cruise ship, bringing the death toll to 65. Scores of family members broke through a police barricade last Wednesday as they marched towards the accident site, demanding information on missing relatives. Chinese authorities have promised to allow the relatives to visit the site later Thursday. Nearly 400 passengers, many of whom are elderly, remain missing. Now, have you ever thought of cooking with only the sun? Well, it's possible. VOA's Caroline Turner spoke with the makers of solar cookers, Cookers International, concluding her series of the Star Tides Expo in Washington on technology available for emergency crisis and disaster relief.
Natural resources are being consumed at a faster rate than in any time in history. Almost 3 billion people still cook their daily food over open fires. The destruction of trees for firewood is causing deforestation, and the smoke from the fire often causes respiratory illness. But the amount of solar energy that reaches the Earth in only 1 hour could power all human activity for 1 year, according to Solar Cookers International. They displayed several different models of cookers at the Star Tides Expo in Washington.
Good thing with this solar sun is it's free. There's no carbon dioxide, there's no pollution. You can cook food and leave it come back. It's like a slow cooker. So when you're cooking it, you put it on a sunny side and come back in 2.5 hours. Your food will be ready.
Solar Cookers International captured a Kenyan cook in action who likes the solar cooker because there is no need for firewood.
Because she likes it very much, she doesn't have to look for firewood. When it's shining like this, she just sits down. Even when she's going to the garden, her food is there cooking. When she comes back, the children eat. Yes. She loves it very much. She likes it very much. She's very happy.
There are 3 basic types of solar cooker designs: box cooker, parabolic, and panel design. Box cookers can reach degrees of 350 Fahrenheit or 177 Celsius. They can be left unattended for hours.
This is called a box cooker. We made it with another friend back in our house for this thing. Basically, these are reflectors here, and what you could see is like a clear plastic for covering this thing. There's one box and inside another box, and we use the paper for insulation. And
where does the food go?
Food comes in here.
Oh. The parabolic transfers sunlight like a magnifying glass on the bottom of the cooking pot or piece of meat, instantly reaching combustion temperatures. Although the focal point under the pot is as hot as an open fire, the curved reflector doesn't get hot. Current models are large and expensive and cannot be left unattended.
This is a parabolic cooker. It's based on like a parabolic equation. It has a focal point which is in the between here. So you put your food here and face this thing towards the sun. The sun lights are reflected underneath the pot, and it's like you can boil, and this is much faster way of cooking it.
The solar panel cooker called Cook It was developed in the 1990s to help with Africa's refugee crisis. It comes folded flat for easy storage and can cook a 3-liter pot of beans, rice, or meat in 1 to 4 hours using only the sun. These inexpensive solar cookers were distributed by relief agencies and used during the day at refugee camps. Refugees were able to cook stew and boil water for tea in these cardboard and aluminum solar cookers. According to Solar Cookers International, if solar cookers were widely in use, it would be possible for millions of families to save their scarce fuel and avoid inhaling smoke during the cooking process. Carolyn Turner, VOA News.
We want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we covered. Join the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa 54. Check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. Coming up, researchers study ways to help people quit smoking. Stay with us.
From science and technology, here's what's new.
Google is looking to get into the clothing industry with Project Jacquard. If all goes well, Project Jacquard's wearable technology will allow you, in the not-too-distant future, to turn on the lights, answer your phone, and start your car just by swiping somewhere on your shirt, pants, dress, or whatever. The technology involves weaving conductive threads into a fabric of clothing and making a small chip that communicates with this touch-sensitive piece of cloth. The chip is sewn into the clothes somewhere unnoticeable. Now, with just a swipe of your hand, you can communicate wirelessly with anything else that has a Wi-Fi connection. The first clothing company to use Jacquard will be Levi Strauss. The company says it wants to create apparel that is emotional, aspirational, and functional. So the day may come when you pat your pockets looking for your keys and you turn off all the house lights. Just part of the learning curve of this new age technology. For VOA's What's New, I'm Todd Grosshans.
Welcome back to Africa 54. Lenomudu is off today. The World No Tobacco Day was marked on May 31st. Smokers were asked to think about their habit and to give it up, even for 24 hours. VOA's Karen Pearson looks at some of the strategies that help people quit.
It's no secret that any type of tobacco use is not healthy. But for most people, it's hard to quit. That's because most of them started the habit as teenagers, and because tobacco contains nicotine.
Nicotine is a highly addictive, very powerful drug.
Dr. Kimberly Horn says teens are likely to use more than one form of tobacco. It could be cigarettes, small cigars, or smokeless tobacco. And teens who smoke are likely to use electronic cigarettes, which also deliver nicotine.
The more nicotine that I get, the more addicted I am, the more difficult it is for me to quit.
There is no one technique for quitting that works for everyone. Some turn to e-cigarettes for help. Cece is hoping electronic cigarettes can help her kick the habit.
After many years of smoking, I really don't like the smell of smoke. I don't like the mess of cigarette butts. I don't like the taste that it leaves in my mouth, and I don't like the fact that other people are going to be bothered by the tobacco smoke.
Studies show electronic devices can work for some people but not for others. Behavioral therapy and medicine, gum and patches that reduce nicotine cravings might help. Dr. Nancy Rigotti and other researchers designed a simple program to help smokers quit while they were in the hospital and stay smoke-free after they were discharged. Patients were given a nicotine patch or medication and counseling in the hospital with follow-up support after they left.
We know that medication works and that counseling works, but they both together work much better than either one alone.
70% of smokers in that program were still smoke-free 6 months after leaving the hospital. The U.S. government and private organizations have been running anti-smoking campaigns since 1964. A study from the Yale School of Public Health found that those who quit during this time period had a 30% improvement in life expectancy. Dr. Theodore Holford is one of the co-authors. He and others who study tobacco use have this advice.
Someone who's considering smoking should not consider it ever.
Both studies were published in the Journal of the American Medical Association. Carol Pearson, VOA News, Washington.
Well, she was a model, strutting the catwalks in the latest fashion trends. Today, Tigwe Danke Kamara is chairman and CEO of the Tigwe Mining Group and Kamara Gold and Mining Network. So how did this beautiful Guinean-born fashion model turn into a mining magnate? Ms. Kamara recently visited our studios and spoke with Africa 54's Lenomudu.
Tigwe Mining Group is most and foremost a holding. So mining is just a part of our different activities. And the other ones are, for example, agriculture, We are a little bit in fishery, in the oil and energy. So, but for now, we are more likely focused on the mining part, which we are trying to expand. We already have licenses in Guinea in the gold and diamond. We actually put out a demand for iron ore, which we are still waiting for approval. In the meantime, we are now settled in Ivory Coast and under Tigui Mining Group Côte d'Ivoire, so TMGCI, and we are starting semi-industrial.
You were a former model, yes. Now you are a mining entrepreneur. Yes. What did it take for you to make that switch?
What it took is that while I used to model, sometimes, modeling, it's everything. It's now clothing, it's jewelry. So I had few friends in the jewelry business. And it happened that most of them had licenses in Guinea, or the mineral that they were using were coming from Africa and specifically Guinea. And then coming also from a political background, I've also known that mining in Africa, it's like a cornerstone for development. Then I also noticed that at that time, there were not so many women. If they were not vocal.
For someone who's interested in this business but has no clue, where do you start?
What I did is to surround myself with people that know about the mining sector. And then I started with the local. So I have geologists, senior geologists that have a very great, broad knowledge of the mining sector in Guinea. And then they were able to guide me as far as the type of mineral that I should start with. And then where are the zones in Guinea? For example, when we talk about diamond, we have the diamond triangle in Guinea that's called the Kisidougou, Kerewane, Masanta. So it's important to be in those zones in order to get the quality of gems that you really want.
What type of challenges have you met?
First, being a young woman with a modeling, a fashion background. So it was very difficult for people just to look at me and then see me first as a businesswoman. Second challenge was raising funds. Because I went into business when the world economy has just swifted badly. And the area I invested, Guinea, at that time was going through some turmoil of its own. But thank God, we elected a democratic president. Things started to be okay. The Ebola outbreak came in.
Let's talk about some misconceptions that people may have.
At some point, we had the problem about blood diamond. Some people were going to Africa using the minerals to afterward use that money to finance either war in Africa or elsewhere. So that was a big problem. But then they put in place the Kimberley process, which helps a little bit now put some type of regulation and a structure in the diamond industry. Most of the time they think that most mining magnates just don't really care about population. Yes. They're there is to make their money and out. But in most cases, I cannot blame them really, because if the governments don't put in place a structure which will protect the resource of the continent or of their regions, business is business.
So you think the main responsibility lies within the government to ensure that corporations are exploring but yet also spreading the wealth to the locals?
For example, governments have laws that will impose on companies to have a social program.
Corporate social responsibility.
Yes. Exactly. I'm a daughter of Africa, so it may be business, but at the end of the day, I want to see my continent succeed. I want to be able, through my activities, bring back something, give back something.
Well, it's time now for a short break. Still to come on Africa 54, the wonders of nature captured in a viral video. We'll be right back.
If you've just joined us, I'm Mariama Diallo, and here is a quick recap of today's headlines. In the Ghanaian capital, Accra, more than 70 people died in a petrol station fire as they sought shelter from heavy rains. In Nigeria, Amnesty International claims there is sufficient evidence for the ICC to investigate senior Nigerian military officers for war crimes in the battle against Boko Haram. And new President Muhammadu Buhari makes his first foreign trip since taking office, traveling to Niger for talks on Boko Haram. Finally, African elephants find solace in Botswana, where ecotourism and a zero-tolerance approach to poaching have created a sanctuary. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
And welcome back to Africa 54, and here is what is trending. Performer Iggy Azalea recently cancelled her fall tour, so she has time to plan for a big moment in her life, her wedding. Nick Young of the Los Angeles Lakers proposed to the rapper earlier this week as they celebrated Young's 30th birthday. Azalea posted a photo on Instagram of her hand laced with a diamond ring. Young wrote, "She said, yes, it's over, man. I'm getting married," when he posted a photo of the couple kissing. Azalea will be 25 on Sunday, and she announced last week that she was cancelling her U.S. tour for a second time. Next up, jewelry is going high-tech at the Computex show in Taiwan. Chipsip is showcasing its latest model of smart glasses, giving wearers real-time information. Museums of art galleries can use smart glasses to provide visitors guided tours and information in real time. Wearable technology doesn't just have to be practical. It can be romantic as well. The Ivy Ring sends alerts when receiving messages or calls between a couple. It provides its own phone app for chatting. And if one person misses the other, they can rub their ring and the other ring will blink. Computex is the largest computer show in Asia and has thousands of exhibitors from 21 countries. And finally, amazing video of Mother Nature's power. Barney Fleming and her boyfriend saw the sky getting dark and knew the coming storm would be picture-worthy. The couple, using smartphone apps to track the South Dakota storm, drove from Rapid City to Black Hawk to get into position to capture shots of the storm that was starting to drop 4-inch hail and heavy rain. After posting the video and photos of the storm on Facebook and Instagram, the storm became a viral sensation, with the video netting 120,000 views and more than 3,800 shares on Facebook as of Tuesday morning. And that's what's trending today. Vincent.
Well, that's our show for today. Be sure to watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com for more news. Tune in to VOA's evening radio show, Africa News Tonight at 1800 UTC, and in the mornings to Daybreak Africa between 0300 and 0600 UTC Monday through Friday. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a good night.